Hey, MisterClash here with another video, and today we're going to have a look at this island base that I created, island moat base that I created for the clan to practice on, and how to beat them all the time. Now, we're going to use an interesting little principle that I cover in a hog pathing video. I'll put the link up now and also in the description below. Now, that is how to path hogs, or how to know where hogs will go when you drop them, before you drop them, and where you need to drop them to make them go to where you want them to go. Now, so I'll just demonstrate just very quickly. If we want the hog to go to this air defense, we know that it won't go. It'll go into the archer, and then so it'll just path away. But what if the archer wasn't there? Can we drop a hog somewhere to go straight to this air defense? Experience might tell us an answer, but can we show that graphically? And we can. So you draw a line from the air defense to the next air defense, or next defense, which is the cannon, and then a line perpendicular coming out from that. Then you draw a line from the wizard to the center of the wizard to the center of the air defense, and a line perpendicular from that. This line, that's more perpendicular. And you can see that creates a little sort of triangle shape. Now, to get a hog to go straight to the air defense, we need to drop in the triangle shape. We can't do that, it's inside the base. So that's the principle we're going to use, but we're going to use it on the entire base. So let's say we wanted to drop hogs here, and we wanted to get them to go to the expo. What needs to happen? Whereabouts do we need to drop them? Can we do it? How do we do it? Now, if you take that same principle, you can draw these little lines to all sorts of weapons out here, and then come perpendicular out on both sides. So let's say it was the air defense. We've got a line coming out here. Oh dear, that's not going to happen. So we'll just forget that. And we could do the same for the wizard. But what if we do for the archer? My lines aren't perfect, but just to give you a rough idea. Now, what if we go from this archer? Okay, we come perpendicular. All right, as long as these other weapons are gone, like this, outside the lines, a hog will path to that expo if you can drop it within this little tiny triangle here. Now, the benefit is, and we'll cover this in a second, remember this is gone and that's gone. Any hogs dropped here will go to these first, and then these become a stepping stone to come in. So even if we can't get it perfect, little triangle out here, remember, you can use inside weapons as little stepping stones to achieve the same goal. Okay, so that's no good. That makes it harder. So we still use the archer as the example. What if we come out to the mortar, which gives us a wider angle? Okay, now I'm feeling much more comfortable that as long as I drop the hogs in this area and these weapons are gone, these are gone unless we're using them as stepping stones, and these weapons are gone. The rest doesn't matter. The hogs will path straight to that expo, into the core, rage, heal, heal, rage, do whatever you want. The core's gutted. Now, same principle applies to Valkyries, but except Valkyries go to things and not weapons. So if we had Valkyries in the same thing, we've got a jump spell, and we want to get Valkyries to jump this into this dark elixir storage. What needs to go? So if we drew a line again, Valkyries go to things, but the same principle applies. So if we drew that line there to the pump, we came out with a little triangle. Okay, as long as we know everything here needs to be gone, everything here needs to be gone. If that is, and there's just these few little buildings left, that pump's gone as well, and the queen pad's gone as well. There's just these four things left. You drop Valkyries here, they of course will go zip, zip, in the middle, and now from this middle spot, there's nothing left for them to do but go in. Okay, so that's a graphical representation of how we can figure out where the Valkyries will go and where we need to drop Valkyries and hogs to get them into the core. How do you create this funnel out the side to make your troops do that? Well, there are multiple ways. One way is obviously a queen walk on one side. On the other side, you can have a bowler walk. You can have golems with your king, with wizards to back them up, even maybe a couple extra Valkyries to help along. You can have golems and witches even. The witch skeletons help clear out a lot of stuff. There are multiple ways you can do it. Heal giants with wizards behind them, as long as you're going to have to split your heroes up, usually queen on one side, king on the other, queen with healers most probably, king with something or other. Might be bowlers or whatnot. Hey, you might just have a bowler walk on one side, queen walk on the other. Anyway, that's the principle involved. So that's all cleared off. And let's have a look at 5 attacks on that sort of thing. And the last attack I want to show you talks about the Valkyrie pathing. It's something I haven't talked about at the moment, but I'll talk about it when the attack happens. Anyway, that's the principles that we're going to use to attack this base, and works every time. little bit faster, slower, whatever. And we'll have a look at 5 attacks. I'll run them at a little bit faster speed and we'll talk through as they go. Okay, just waiting for the first troop to go down. There we go. We've got the queen going down and the healers have gone on the queen. Now he's put the healers on the left-hand side, so it's a good indication he would like the queen to go to the left. Otherwise, and of course, by being on the left, it's also out of range of the air sweeper. So take those sorts of things into consideration when you're dropping your healers. Where's the air sweeper? Can I drop the healers a little bit on the left, and can the queen still benefit from the healers but also not be targeted by the air sweeper? So he's got golems on the right-hand side with some wall breakers. Drop the king. Now his troops are 15 hogs and 8 Valkyries that he's got. 2 more wizards to drop down. So he's pretty light on the wizards. You don't need to be wizard heavy. You don't need to be bringing 14, 15, 20 wizards for these sorts of attacks. As you can see, they're all 3-star. There'll be 3-star attacks, but no one's bringing 20 wizards or anything like that. So Rage King, golems, wizards on the right-hand side, queen on the left. Now just waiting a little bit for that funnel to be created. Just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Jump spell goes down. Okay, Valkyries can go in. Now that last Valkyrie did path to the cannon. Probably dropped it 1 tile over. The hogs have nowhere else to go. You can see they did a little bit of pathing shuffle because they weren't really sure 100% where they wanted to go. 1 weapon goes down. They reallocate. And that's it. Now I did put a lot of spring traps on the outside, on the top left and the top right. So you'll see his hogs go flying, because I assumed, I just like to make it difficult. When I created the base, put spring traps everywhere. If they come into where the queen was and send the hogs in at the top side, if they were just going to do hogs alone, thinking that they're going to hog the base, then they'd lose a lot of hogs to the spring traps. All the spring traps on that side. So obviously the right hand side troops died, but the queen's still up with a healer. Valkyrie's running around. That's it, base wrecked. So that principle of creating that nice little funnel. Now you see Super here's doing the same sort of thing. Now Super does not have any clan troops with him at all in this attack. He's got 2 golems for the left, queen walking for the right. Now he's just decided to come straight into the air sweeper, not really bothering too much. There's not a lot of things shooting at the queen, so it's not as needed, not as necessary for the queen to be under full heal at the moment. Now that the sweeper's gone down, that's all pretty good. It's not going to matter. He didn't even have enough wall breakers for the left-hand side, so he sent a Valkyrie in to help on the left-hand side. Got a few wizards going down, probably vomited them over on that side a little bit too much for my liking. But now this is where you'll see the stepping stone process come involved, or sort of like little breadcrumbs. The Valkyries follow the trail of breadcrumbs from one thing to the other. Now the only thing left is the storage. From the storage, it's over to the jump and into the core, rage heal, and heal rage. Got the king raging on the left-hand side with the wizards to back him up. Healed queen on the right-hand side. Now the Valkyries will target in on heroes. Valkyries like heroes and they like clan troops, and they also like skeletons. Now the healers have left the queen and they're targeting onto that golem now. So we've now got an immortal golem that won't die. The Valkyries a couple of Valkyries left trying to get out of the hole, out of the core. And as they just follow around, rage the queen, because obviously those healers have gone in front of the queen, or dropped the rage spell, so that all happens a little bit quicker. So try and save the healers a little bit. Didn't matter. Air bombs took them out. So a couple of Valkyries left. The golem tanking in front. You know this base is, it doesn't matter that there's not many troops left. The base is going to fall to what's left anyway, because it can't damage the queen, which is taking everything out. So it's not as definitive as the previous attack was, but it shows the principles of the attack in action. And that is that this base, Max Defenses Town Hall 9, was taken out by essentially a queen walk with 7 Valkyries. That's essentially what took this base out. A couple of golems for tanking and so on, but essentially a queen walk with 7 Valkyries and a few wizards. Now, the same attacker in a village raid doing the same thing in a village raid. So taking that principle from friendly challenges and applying it to the village raid. Now, watch carefully as he drops the Valkyries, because he doesn't quite get the funneling 100% right. The queen does a little bit too much work, and the Valkyries almost go astray. Just tries to get the way that the trash goes down. Let me get that out. Get a little bit tongue-tied. The way that some of the trash and everything goes down, quite not fast enough for the way when the Valkyries got put in. So the Valkyries almost went astray. So keep a sharp eye on the Valkyries. So the queen's there in the middle. If the queen had not shot this archer tower, it wouldn't really have been a problem, but they did. So now the Valkyries have no stepping stone. They'll start to path to the gold mine. Once that gold mine's down, remember that little perpendicular line that came out between the Expo on that next weapon, you drew that out. Some Valkyries on the right hand side of that line, so they went to the core. Others were on the left, so they pathed to the left. So, but once that was all done, Valkyries in and out. And the king and golems and wizards are still fine on the left hand side, and the queen with the healer on the right hand side is still fine. And remember, this attacker didn't use any clan troops to do this attack. So this principle is working even without clan troops. If you had clan troops, it would have been a little bit quicker. You might have had, what, 3 more Valkyries or something like that in his thing, or if he decided to take a golem and bring his own Valkyries. So now we've got more of a hog version. This is again on the base that I created. So again, you've got the same principle involved. Get the queen on one side to create a little bit of a funnel. Now he's doing something tricky, and that's dropping a couple of hogs on that distracted weapon to take it out for free, and also as it paths over to the left-hand mortar to draw the clan troops. Now because there's nothing else to trigger the clan troops, they'll come to the queen. The queen can take out the clan troops, and then once those clan troops are done, and he can focus on the king and the other part of the funnel, because with the healers on the queen, there's nothing left really to do for the queen. She's not going to go down. So golems come in. Now with those other weapons taken down by the hogs, the golems have nowhere else to go, but they will go left. And he's brought some bowlers in to help clean up that process behind the golems. And he's got some Valkyries to go in as well. So he's got a lot of trash clearing stuff going on the left-hand side. Now, once that left air defense goes down and the right archer and air defense goes down, then all the hogs can come in from the bottom. And there they are, beautiful. They've come in from the bottom, bit of some spells in the middle to keep them alive, and that's it. He doesn't have any more spells. He's used them all, but it doesn't matter. With the hogs coming out, bowlers, golems, healed archer, the base is finished, king's in the middle, bowlers there. So this is probably the most definitive attack, in as much as having a lot of troops and things left over, like high capacity troops. However, that's just the way he attacked. Others like to attack with different troops for cleaning up to creating their funnel. But you'll notice the queen walk has been on one side in all of these attacks. Now have a look at this particular attack. It's a little bit tricky. If you've got a queen that's going to take a lot of heat from some point defense, say like 3-point defense or something like that, the healers won't keep up. Drop some giants down instead. The healed giants will survive, and the queen sitting behind them can take out weapons. Now in this case, he's not doing that 100%, but that's in essence what he's doing. Now the other thing is, with these Valkyries, he's a little bit lucky to get the Valkyries into the core. They normally wouldn't go into the core, but the reason they took the jump spell, watch carefully, is that the wizards stay in the moat. And because the wizards are in the moat, the Valkyries then zero in on the wizards, and then after the king has taken out that trash, the next thing closest to the Valkyries after the wizards is what's in the core. So then he's dropped a jump spell so the Valkyries can get out of the core onto the next part. The king's still on the left-hand side with some wizards following around there. The queen's coming on the right-hand side with her Valkyries, and the healer on some Valkyries as well. And that's it. The base is finished. So that's the little pathing and sort of funneling principle, drawing your lines on the screen to find out what you need to get rid of and how you need to get rid of it. Pathing with a queen walk on one side, and king and whatever normally on the other side. Anyway, that's it for this video. Please leave a thumb. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate that. Please leave a thumb up. It does help the channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tell in the style of one of the YouTubers, tell your grandma to subscribe. Tell everyone to subscribe in your clan. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.